For 3,000 years, Egypt had been an inward-looking civilization. Now Alexander opened it up to a wider world. On the west of the Nile Delta, he himself marked out the site for a great new harbour. It was called after him Alexandria. Ever since, it's been Egypt's greatest port, and to Greeks everywhere, the capital of memory.
Alexandria was the greatest emporium, the marketplace of the world. The wealth that accumulated was made very good use of. First, building a magnificent city with wonderful street structure, drainage system, water supply, great temples, palaces, palaces upon palaces, as Homer said, and above all, a center of world culture to compete with Athens itself. With enormous amount of wealth and money, they invited the best minds in the world to come and settle in Alexandria. In the 3rd century BC, within 1 century after its foundation, Alexandria could claim the great names of Euclid, the great mathematician, Eratosthenes, the great astronomer, Herophilus, the founder of anatomy, Archimedes.
And the greatest library in the world.
The greatest library in the world was there. A universal library in the proper sense for the first time. A prototype of the British Museum, of the Bibliothèque Nationale. This was in the mind of Alexander the Great. And this is his great, perhaps, contribution to world history.
The city is still a cosmopolitan place today. It's one of Alexander's great legacies, the first of nearly 30 Alexandrias he founded between Africa and India. And only now are archaeologists finding material evidence of the vision behind it. It shows a side of the king's character we hadn't seen so far. Not just the warrior, but a far-sighted thinker. Faithful to his tutor Aristotle's vision of Greek civilization and its power to change the world.
That's great, thanks.
Under the streets of Alexandria, the archaeologists have now discovered a network of canals designed to bring the city's water supply in from the Nile. Was all this Alexander's vision too, I wondered? Deeper still under the city, you can find another legacy in the catacombs, in their exuberant mingling of Egyptian and Greek and Eastern cultures. Could Alexander have foreseen all this in his wildest dreams? A day or two later, we woke to a cool dawn in the western desert, back on his track, and our first major expedition. In the winter of 332 BC, Alexander surprised everyone. Instead of turning towards Persia, he left his army by the Nile and headed off with his close companions towards Libya. His goal was the distant oasis of Siwa and the famous oracle of Ammon. He was still seeking signs from the gods. From the Nile Valley, it's 700 kilometers to Siwa, and the last stage goes straight into the desert. For Alexander, 8 or 9 days' journey. He came through the little oasis of Gara, and we camped close by.
This is the way to make the good salad.
This is Alexander Christus.
That's why this is salad au Alexandre. Blood and everything. Sweet blood.
Now you see, I think it must have been a bit like this for Alexander and the boys. See, these are young bloods. They're only men in their early 20s. They've been on a campaign for 2 or 3 years, and now they've got a few weeks off in the middle of Egypt, and they're camping out at night, lighting fires underneath the stars, drinking a bit of date wine, having a bit of fun. I think the journey to Siwa must have been an exciting experience for them.
This part of the journey, the Greeks talk about a landscape without any features. There wasn't a single tree or mountain by which we could get our bearings, they say. Just a great ocean of sand.
It was, says the historian Curtius, as if they'd entered a vast sea, and their eyes looked around in vain for a sight of land. Two curious things happened on the way, which the expedition's chronicler Callisthenes made out to be omens. They ran out of water and were saved by a sudden shower. They lost their way, but birds appeared and led them back to the track.